Hi, this is Wes Moss. I'm typically doing Money Matters updates. Today I'm actually doing an update about the Whole30 diet of all things. I can't believe I'm doing a video about diet, but the reason it's relevant to what we do in my professional career and as an investment advisor, the kind of guiding light in our firm is helping retirees find happiness in retirement. One of my favorite books of all time, or series of books, has to do with the blue zones. The blue zones are where the 5 or 6 places in the world where people live the longest. They were originally circled on a map with a blue pen, so they're called blue zones. But think about Okinawa, Japan, or some of the Greek Isles where people live to 100 on a regular basis. Longevity. So I'm a big believer in studying all those traits of happy retirees, but also the traits of people that are healthy and live long, happy lives. And that's really kind of where my interest, I guess, in diet came from, and I'm going to just answer some questions about the Whole30 diet. It's kind of a big undertaking, so if you've thought about doing this, I know that there's probably, at this point, millions of people that have done it, but there's still probably millions of people to go as far as testing this out. And today I'll give you some ideas about what that timeline looks like, and now that I'm 3/4 of the way through it, just to give you some insight. So first of all, really is an idea of my wife. Lynn and I went down to, in our 3 of our 4 boys, went down the beach for a couple of days, and she brought the Whole30 book with her and said, hey, I think we should do this. She had bought it 6, 7 years ago, and I immediately poo-pooed the idea because, like, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat healthy, and when you're younger, it's easier not to gain weight and all those things. So, but in my now 40s, I've realized, as we should all realize sooner, but it took me a long time, that instead of, I used to think diet was 20% and exercise was 80% of the equation, right? In real life, I've learned it's the other way around. So it's 80% diet and it's 20% exercise. So I kind of agreed and said, look, okay, we'll do Whole30, we'll do it together. And it's a lot to undertake because there's a lot of things you can't eat. I think there's a lot of great things you can eat, and that's what I think makes it so doable. But it's a pretty big shift, particularly, and this is for parents that have a bunch of little kids. And if you're a dad like me, you've got a mac and cheese on the stove when you come home, and they've eaten, and now it's time to eat something healthier. There's fish sticks, or there's frosted mini wheats or Cheerios in the cabinet. And those are all the things that are so great to snack on, that over the last, call it, decade since we started having kids, it's kind of made clean eating and healthy eating really difficult. It's really difficult to open up the cabinet, see my 2 favorite things in the world are peanut butter, whether it's Skippy or Jif or Peter Pan, I love all of them, and pretzels, which I love almost all pretzels. So you put those 2 together and, like, that's a vice, so I might eat like a pound of that a night after a healthy dinner. So I've kind of been offsetting all these things for many years. So Lynn said, let's do Whole30. I read the book, and it's a little bit overwhelming when you first read it because it's like, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. Here's how I sum it up. You can't eat sugar. That's it. It's really about you cannot eat sugar. But sugar obviously takes on a lot of forms. That means you can't eat pasta and bread because that turns into sugar quickly. So really what you can't eat is primarily carbohydrates, and then nothing with added sugar, which also takes away alcohol. So you can't drink any sort of alcohol because, again, that metabolizes, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it turns into sugar. So if you think about what Whole30 really is cutting out, I like to think of it makes it easier for me, just cutting out one thing, which is sugar, or anything that quickly turns into sugar. Your body gets used to that, and you live kind of on a carb cycle. I'm so guilty of that for so long. What Whole30 tries to do is say, okay, you can eat all the fat you want, meaning that you can eat steak and chicken and meat and a burger, but you can't eat bread. You can eat all the vegetables you want. You can eat, quite frankly, all the fruit you want. You can eat nuts, except for peanuts, which, boom, there goes my peanut butter. So the way I look at it is I've tried to, in my head, make it less bad, which is basically saying, oh, I can only just not eat sugar, even though it's a lot of things, and I can eat all of these things that I may be kind of underappreciated. So all the salad you want, all the vegetables you want, carrots, you can eat potatoes. So of course sweet potatoes are good for you, Japanese sweet potatoes, American sweet potatoes, and even regular white potatoes. So you don't have to get rid of mashed potatoes. You do have to get rid of butter. So you need to read Whole30 and figure out how to shop again. I basically put a lot, I just don't open my kids' pantry anymore, which is basically everything that I want to eat that's just bad for you. And I have my own Whole30 pantry with snacks, which is really right now, the only snacks I have are almond butter, which is just crushed up almonds. It's actually really good. It's taken the place of peanut butter, and I use that with apples, and that's like my only snack. So I've been doing this now. I'm really on week 3, so I'm kind of getting close to the finish line. It's a 30-day deal, so I'm calling it day 20. or 21. I'm fully into this thing, so I've gone through what the difficult first, call it 2 weeks, where your body's really kind of getting away from carbs, and that was really tough. I think I had a headache for 3 or 4 days. Not that bad, but I definitely felt it and definitely was missing carbohydrates, and I'm very guilty of not eating lunch. We've got this great break room where I work, and an endless supply here for some reason of pretzels filled with peanut butter, which again are my vice, except now I don't have to even do 2 things. I'm just taking pretzels filled with peanut butter. So I eat like a pound of those a day. And I guess I've gotten used to that cycle of carbs and sugar. Getting off of that and getting your body to burn just, I guess, fat is what the transition, I guess, at this point, the days I've been able to do. So what it does, you end up with much more energy, much more sustained energy. You end up feeling better. You end up you're just much more alert. And they'll read a whole list. There's like 100 things that Whole30 will supposedly do. Like you feel better, look better. You're not supposed to weigh yourself. So I actually have not weighed myself. Because I'm not really doing it to lose weight. I'm doing it to be healthy and understand the foods that don't make me feel good. And that's, by the way, why it's called Whole30 in a second. The other part here is that you don't weigh yourself, but I actually already have had to go in one belt loop or one belt loop tighter, so probably have lost some weight. The other thought here is that it's not meant to do this forever. It's meant to, and this is really why my wife wanted to do it, ever since our 4th child, she's a runner. Getting back exercising has been tough because she'll maybe have a sore hip or knee or ankle. And a lot of that could be attributed to just inflammation caused by the foods we eat in the kind of a normal American diet. And I can tell kind of just inflammation has come down. My joints don't hurt. I don't have headaches and all the things that I maybe used to have. My allergies seem better. We'll see where that goes. But the point is that after 30 days, you then you bring back in the things you've been missing. And when you add something back in, let's say you add back in pasta, right? And then you feel terrible because you did that, or your allergies flare up, or you feel crappy, then you realize that you just shouldn't be eating pasta. And Whole30 kind of taught you that by adding it back in after the 30 days, maybe that's something that for the rest of your life you just don't want to do. Maybe pasta is a bad idea, but for some folks it just doesn't sit well. Bread doesn't sit well. Maybe instead of drinking beer, you look at some sort of more gluten-free option if you're drinking alcohol. I don't know what it is, but it's meant for you to really learn about food, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel like crap, so that you know and have a better understanding of food. It's really a food education with a lot of other benefits along the way. So again, the reason I'm doing this is that I'm a huge believer in health and happiness for retirees, but it applies to all of us, of course. We want to feel better. We want to look better. We want to lose weight or have it be at an optimal weight, and we want to be able to eat healthier so that we can live longer, more prosperous lives. So that's the whole point of this video. There's a ton of resources about Whole30. I've written already a couple articles about it on wesmoss.com. Of course, you're watching this on my Wes Moss Money Matters homepage. This is the first kind of health update I think I've ever done. So if you like it, great. If not, maybe skip to the money videos. But of course, subscribe below. You can find us at wesmoss.com. And I wish you the very best, particularly if you try Whole30. Best of luck. I think it's worth the initial little bit of pain. A lot more benefits than there are negatives in the beginning. And I wish you the best.